Every morning you wake up to an inbox full of urgent messages, don't you? Your phone buzzes constantly with client calls. Partners want everything yesterday. Clients expect immediate solutions. Your calendar is jam-packed. Look familiar? This is what I call the pressure cooker of legal practice. And there really are three different pressure points. First, there's the external pressure. Courts have their deadlines. Clients have their emergencies. Partners have their expectations. And then there's the internal pressure. The constant worry about missing something crucial in a contract. The fear that opposing counsel might outmaneuver you. The nagging feeling that you should be working even in those times when you're with your family. And finally, there's the professional pressure. The race to make partner. The drive to build your book of business. The need to maintain your reputation. Welcome to the Free Lawyer Podcast. I'm your host, Gary Miles. Hey everybody, welcome to the Free Lawyer. Thank you for joining me today. Let me ask you some things. Are you constantly racing against the clock, trying to meet what seems like impossible deadlines? Do you ever feel like no matter how hard you push, there's always another case, always another demand, another crisis waiting for you? Do you feel like you're constantly missing out on something important moments with your family, or running out of time? Are you ever losing sleep over client demands? You know, if you're a lawyer, I bet you felt this way at some point, and maybe even right now. But here's the hard truth. The legal profession isn't designed for patience, because clients want instant results. Partners expect quick turnarounds. And opposing counsel always pressure us to respond faster, don't they? I know I've seen that. But what if I told you the most successful lawyers aren't the ones who move the fastest, but the ones who master the art of patience? What if I told you the solution isn't working faster or harder, but slower and smarter? I'm Gary Miles. After 4 decades as a trial lawyer and a managing partner, I've discovered something that completely transformed my practice and my life. And today I'm going to share this counterintuitive skill that could revolutionize your legal career, one that nobody is talking about, but everyone desperately needs. Before I became a coach for lawyers and started hosting the Free Lawyer Podcast, I was exactly where many of you are now. Picture this, it's 2005. I'm managing partner at a very successful and prestigious firm. I'm trying cases, I'm leading a team, managing the firm, and on paper, I had it all. But behind the scenes, I was drowning. Every victory felt hollow because I was already worried about the next case. Every achievement was overshadowed by the next goal. My mind was always racing to the future and never present in the moment. Then something happened that forced me to completely reimagine my approach to practicing law. I realized that the very thing I thought was holding me back, taking time to slow down and be patient, was actually the key to everything I wanted. Better results for my clients, stronger relationships with my family, and real fulfillment in my work. Now, as a coach to lawyers across the country, I've helped other attorneys discover the same transformative truth. And today, I'm going to share with you the exact strategies that not only saved my career, but helped me build a practice I truly love. Through my personal recovery journey and decades of experience, I've discovered that success in law requires something we hardly ever talk about: patience. Patience is a principle that has transformed my approach to practicing law, and today I'm going to show you exactly how it can transform yours as well. Let's have an honest conversation about the reality of practicing law today. Every morning you wake up to an inbox full of urgent messages, don't you? Your phone buzzes constantly with client calls. Partners want everything yesterday. Clients expect immediate solutions. Your calendar is jam-packed. Look familiar? This is what I call the pressure cooker of legal practice. And there really are three different pressure points. First, there's the external pressure. Courts have their deadlines. Clients have their emergencies. Partners have their expectations. And then there's the internal pressure. the constant worry about missing something crucial in a contract, the fear that opposing counsel might outmaneuver you, the nagging feeling that you should be working even in those times when you're with your family. And finally, there's the professional pressure, the race to make partner, the drive to build your book of business, the need to maintain your reputation. And when we rush to meet all those three different pressures, here's what actually happens. The quality of our work suffers. We start to miss crucial details. Stress increases, leading to poor decision making. Client relationships strain under hasty communication. And our work-life balance, it becomes but a distant memory. But here's the truth I've discovered. The most successful attorneys aren't the one who move the fastest. They're the ones who know when to slow down. Let me give you a concrete example. In a difficult litigation case I handled, taking an extra day to thoroughly review discovery documents revealed a crucial detail others had missed, and that patience turned the entire case in our favor. And this is not about working slower. It's about working smarter. It's about understanding that sometimes the fastest way to get where you want to go is to slow down and get it right the first time. I call this the patience paradox. When you learn to be patient with a process, you actually make fewer mistakes that need fixing. You build stronger client relationships. You develop better strategies. But most importantly, you maintain your sanity in the process. When I first started practicing patience in my legal career, something remarkable happened. Not only did my stress levels drop, but my effectiveness actually increased. Let me show you the hidden benefits that transform my practice and can transform yours as well. The first benefit is better decision making. Patient lawyers make better strategic decisions. When you step back from the pressure to act immediately, you gain what I call strategic clarity. Think about the last time you had to make a crucial decision in a case. On the one hand, we have the rushed approach, making decisions under pressure, often leading to costly mistakes. On the other, the patient approach, taking time to thoughtfully consider multiple angles, consulting with your colleagues, and developing a comprehensive strategy. In my practice, I started building in what I call strategy pauses, dedicated time to step back and evaluate. The result, better outcomes for my clients and fewer sleepless nights for me. The second hidden benefit might actually surprise you. Patient lawyers build stronger and more profitable client relationships. Here's what I discovered. When you approach client communication with patience, you listen more effectively to their concerns. You set realistic expectations from the start. You explain the complex issues of their cases more clearly. And you build trust through your thoughtful responses instead of your reactive ones. But perhaps the most powerful benefit is what happens to your personal life. When you master patience in your practice, you create space for what truly matters. You leave work at work without guilt. You're fully present with family and friends. You rediscover your passion for law and you build a sustainable, fulfilling career. This isn't just about theory. I lived this transformation, going from constantly checking my phone at family dinners to truly enjoying my time with my wife, Brenda, and our family. Now, as a grandfather of 6, I appreciate more than ever how patience helps us create the life we really want. And finally, here's the impact on your professional development. Patient lawyers develop deeper expertise in their practice areas. They build stronger professional networks. They make more thoughtful career moves, and they create sustainable success rather than just short-term wins. The beauty of these benefits is that they compound over time. Each patient decision builds upon the last, creating a foundation for long-term success and satisfaction in your practice. Before I share the 4 practical strategies that transform my practice, I want to invite you to take the first step toward your own. Click the link below to schedule a free coaching call with me. Let's just discuss how these principles can work in your specific situation. Now that you understand why patience is crucial, let's talk about 4 tools for developing it. These 4 proven strategies have helped other lawyers I've coached transform their practice, and they can help you as well. The first is a long-term perspective framework. It's not just about thinking ahead, it's about creating a structured approach to decision making. Here's how it works. Start each Monday with a 5-5-5 review. Where do you want to be in 5 months? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And what 5 steps can you take this week toward those goals? And what that accomplishes for you is as you start thinking about the future, towards the long term, and planning how you can work today to start taking steps towards where you want to be. The second is to break your cases down into major milestone markers. Plan your cases. Develop a discovery plan, when you're going to do things and how you're going to do them. Create a settlement evaluation process and when you're going to do that, and then start developing your trial strategy. In other words, don't be reactive to what happens, but as soon as you get the case, start proactively planning it. And then create checkpoints for important matters. Things like reassessing your case strategy, settlement evaluation, and motion filing. So what we're doing here is we're adopting a long-term perspective. We're breaking down our big goals into small, manageable milestones. We're celebrating progress, not just outcomes, because your career, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So the final suggestion I have is to take 15 minutes at the start of each month to deeply dive into where you want to be in 5 years and how you can focus this month's work to contribute to that long-term vision. So that's the long-term perspective where we're starting to really focus on the future, the longer term, so we're not so tied up in the stresses of the moment. The second strategy is the daily centering practice. These are specific techniques that help you maintain patience under pressure. And we're under a lot of pressure every day, and it's often unexpected, isn't it? So here are the key components. The first is our morning process. Take 10 minutes each morning to review your top 3 priorities for the day. Identify potential pressure or stress points, and plan time in your day for unexpected issues. And then we want to set up a process for responding to stressful situations so we're not reactive. So what I want to do is categorize our communications. We have true emergencies, immediate court deadlines, client crisis situations. We have urgent matters that require a response that day but aren't really immediate. Then we have our standard communication for our regular business matters. And then we have strategic decisions. They're complex issues that we have to thoroughly analyze. And here's our time process for each of them. For the true emergencies, the true stressful things that pop up during the day, take 5 minutes. Take 3 deep breaths and gather yourself. Review the facts of the emergency. Consider its implications, and then plan your first steps. For the urgent matters that require a response today but aren't crucial, read what's involved, review the relevant documents, draft your initial response, and review it before sending. For standard communications, all those piles of emails we get, the routine telephone calls, batch them together and craft thoughtful replies, return the calls, and do them all at the same time. And for the strategic decisions, sleep on them, consult with colleagues, document your reasoning, and come up with a plan. The second component of this is our stress circuit breakers. There's so many things that happen during our day that cause us stress. So when you feel tension rising, find a private place. Time yourself for 2 minutes. Practice square breathing, 4 counts in. Hold it for 4 counts. Let it out for 4 counts. And then hold your breath for 4 counts. Focus on relaxing physically. Be aware of your environment. And then choose a different perspective. And it's really stressful when you need a bigger reset. Step outside your office, walk to a different floor, change your physical position, move to a conference room, or step outside and make a brief connection with nature. The key is physical movement combined with scene change, a change of scenery, the conference room, downstairs, outside. And finally, check in on your perspective. When you're feeling really stressed, try to keep the issue in perspective. Will this issue matter in 6 months? What's the absolute worst that could happen? And if a colleague presented it to you, what would you advise the colleague? And then take the advice you'd have given that colleague in a similar situation and apply it to yourself. And then ask yourself these 3 questions. How will you feel about this issue in 10 minutes? How will you feel about it in 10 months? How will you feel about it in 10 years? And I think you'll agree with me, in 10 months and certainly 10 years, you may not even remember it. So try to develop daily centering practices. Start your day with 10 minutes of quiet reflection. Take a break between your tasks to reset your mind. And when stress builds up, practice deep breathing. And if you're really feeling impatient, take 5 slow breaths. List 5 facts about that current situation and identify 5 possible next steps. So those help you to stay centered and handle those stressful situations. Strategy 3 is a client communication matrix. Proactive client management can pay enormous dividends. Our patience in planning ahead and coming up with a process can transform one of the biggest pressure points into a source of strength. And we all know that client demands, they're what causes often the worst stress of all. I know I've experienced this, but this will help to relieve it. The first is set initial expectations with your clients. Let them know what the timelines are for a resolution. Discuss the process with them and potential delay factors and how you'll handle them. Set up a communication schedule and process. Let them know how frequently you'll communicate with them about the case. I recommend every case should get a communication every 2 weeks, and if not, at least every month. Let them know your preferred communication methods and find out theirs, and set a protocol when they can contact you in an emergency. And you can set the process for answering their phone calls. You can let them know that you're busy, you're on other matters, you're talking to other clients, and you may not always be available when they call, but you'll call them back in 24 hours. And if you set that expectation up front, it'll make a big difference. And then document your communications with them. Send them bi-weekly or monthly summaries. Document your key strategic decisions with them. And let them know what the potential challenges are and how you plan on handling them. So if you manage your client communications from the beginning, you set expectations, you let them know what the process is, it will relieve so much stress in your day. And the final strategy I have is a professional growth protocol. This is a systematic approach to building patience into your career development and your growth. You should have a quarterly skill assessment. Identify areas where you want to grow in your expertise and your knowledge. You could look at your communication effectiveness. How can you write better? How can you improve your presentation skills? And then think about your strategic thinking. How can you better review and evaluate your cases or assess the risks involved? And the second piece of it is mentorship. Find yourself a mentor who you would like to work with, someone who is wise and experienced, someone who is empathetic and supportive, someone who will hold you accountable, someone who will help you plan your future. I found my mentor has seen in me a future I never saw in myself, and your mentor can do the same for you. I know with the clients I work with, the success they have is simply incredible. And I feel so fulfilled when I can support them, encourage them, and hold them accountable in a nice way to see their growth. And then change how you define what success looks like to you. Don't make success all about how many hours you build or how many clients you brought in, but maybe base it on your attorney work-life balance. Are you satisfied at work? Do you find personal time for yourself. How are you at reducing the level of your stress? Look at your client satisfaction. Are your clients happy with your work? How long do they continue to work with you? Do they refer other clients to you? And then look at your professional growth. Have you developed your skills? Are you expanding your practice area? Are you seeking leadership opportunities or speaking opportunities? And what I really encourage as a final step here is to maintain a progress journal. Keep a journal will help shift focus from your immediate frustrations and stresses to your long-term growth. And write down every day what your wins are, and every week, ask yourself these things. What challenge tested your patience this week? How did you handle it? And what progress did you make that you didn't see last week? This process builds confidence and will help you track how your patience will lead to success over time. Here's the key. You don't have to implement all these things at once. Start with one technique from each strategy that resonates with you and gradually incorporate more. Remember, developing patience is itself a practice that requires patience. Our goal is never perfection, it's progress. So as we wrap up today, I want to share something personal with you. After 4 decades in law, countless cases and years of managing a successful firm, I learned that our biggest challenges are not legal ones, they're human ones. The pressure to rush, to always be on, to sacrifice our well-being for our practice, these are the real battles we face every day. But here's what I know for certain. The path to a truly successful legal career is not about working faster or harder. It's about working with intention and patience. It's about building a practice that sustains you, rather than drains you. Think about why you became a lawyer in the first place. Was it to make a difference, to help others, to build something meaningful? Those aspirations don't require you to sacrifice your well-being. In fact, they require you to preserve it. So consider the 4 strategies we looked at today. The long-term perspective framework, looking and viewing and planning your long-term goals, your daily centering practices, a system for staying balanced every day, your client communication matrix, an effective communication system with your clients where we come to set their expectations up front to relieve those rushed and hurried calls, and the professional growth protocol, planning and developing your growth. These are not just techniques. They are tools for transformation. These are tools that have helped hundreds of other lawyers find their way back to a practice they love. But remembering, developing patience is not about perfection. It's about progress. So start small. Choose one strategy that resonates with you. Practice it consistently. Watch how it changes not just your practice, but your entire experience of being a lawyer. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, remember this. Every patient step forward, no matter how small, moves you closer to the practice and to the life that you want to create. You don't have to do it alone. I'm here to help you on that journey. So before you go, take 3 simple actions. Subscribe to this channel, or if you listen to the podcast, to this podcast, for weekly strategies on building a more fulfilling legal practice. Either visit GaryMiles.net to schedule your free coaching consultation, or schedule it on the link below. And maybe most importantly, share this with a colleague who might be feeling stressed today and hurried and needs to learn how to practice patience. See how you can help and support him. Thank you for investing this time in your growth. Here's to building a legal practice that truly serves you, one patient step at a time. Thank you for being here today. And as always, please be well, be safe, and be free.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Free Lawyer Podcast. Wherever you are listening, if you enjoyed what I shared, please leave me a rating and review. I would appreciate hearing more about what you like best and what topics you might like me to cover in future episodes. If you are interested in experiencing a more fulfilling and a more successful life, please contact me at www.GaryMiles.net where you can schedule a free discovery call with me so I can learn more about you, your challenges, and your dreams. I appreciate each and every one of you and have a great rest of your day. Thanks to all of you for your support.